rappers. If I send the dressers, they gon' come in straight.
What it is, it's your boys, Deuce, Teddy, and LaQuille, reporting with the facts, opinions, and BS straight from the top of the key. What's good?
What's cracking, man?
What's popping?
Hey.
Yes, sir.
So much basketball to unpack. So many series got finished off the last 48 hours. A lot of basketball.
It's crazy because all the games tonight, other than the 2-2, Kings Warriors, it was 3-1 for the series for all of the away teams. All the away teams got the 3-1 advantage. Yesterday, it was the 3-1, and all the home teams had the advantage. So it's crazy how it lined up like this.
Some good basketball. Them boys. First, we got to give a shout out to the most improved player in the NBA 2022-2023 season. Larry. Well, he was an all-star this year, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Larry Marketing.
He was an all-star this year. Yeah. He ain't start, though, but he was all-star. Most improved player this year. Well-deserved.
Yeah.
I think he was in the front runner with SGA. That was also in the running.
Yep, SGA, and then all the way behind you got Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton, Tyrese Halliburton. Kevon Looney was on that thing too. But Lloyd Marketing brought it in.
Well deserved.
Yeah. It is, scoring 25.6 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, 1.9 free assists per game. And, he's actually the first 7-footer in the league history to convert more than 200 3-pointers and 100 dunks in the season. They're going to come up with a stat for anything. But then also he's the 7th international player. So he joined Giannis, Hedo Turkoglu, Morrison, Boris Diaw, Goran Dragic, and Pascal Siakam as most improved international players with the most improved player of the year award.
I'm surprised that number they had to make that up because that sounds like a Dirk number, but
what
close
number?
to a Dirk number that 200 3-pointers and 100.
But it's the dunks. It's the dunks though. That's what's gonna do it for Dirk. And you got to think back then.
Dirk ain't slamming it down, but he used to finish with 2 hands at the rim when he be right there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's like a Dirk type number.
The other thing you got to think about is, as much as Dirk shot, they weren't shooting threes like this. When Dirk was playing. So with these players, they're making he's making about 3 threes a game type deal. Dirk could probably shoot 6 threes a game. So, in order for them to make, Steph Curry shoot 20 threes to make 5.
Dirk was hitting them 3s. That's how he got top 5 in scoring.
But they weren't shooting threes. You got to think why Ray Allen only has as many threes he had. One of the best 3-point shooters in the league's history. He wasn't shooting threes that much, and he was specifically a 3-point shooter.
So later in his career, that boy was a yammer. He was like Kobe when he first came out.
Yeah, he had handles.
He was a Kobe when he first came out. He was yakking on people. But all right, shout out to him. Let's get into some of this playoff series.
On me.
Start off with these Kings. I told y'all boys from the jump, the Kings was gonna get them Cavs that run. I think it was Quail.
The Knicks.
The Knicks was gonna get them Cavs to run. I think it was Quail that had said something about. He thought it was going to be a real interesting series. And I'm like, them Knicks is on a mission. They finished the season off too strong to be going in there. The Cavs finished too weak. Them boys finished them off.
So how do you rate the Cavs postseason performance?
Underperformed. They did have that one game that they win where they blew the Knicks out.
Yes.
I don't even know what happened in that game. I'm sitting there watching that like the basketball guys pretty much gave the Cavs. The Cavs couldn't miss. They was passing about they were shooting. But other than that, don't get me wrong. The first game and the third game was close games. And these games aren't total blowout shutouts.
Yeah.
But the Cavs, compared to how the season started to how they finished, it's kind of like a womp womp. we was expecting that to at least go 6-7 games. That was the one series that we all agreed. Well, not me, but everybody would pretty much agreed, at least on the East side, that was going to be a 6 or 7 game series. And the Knicks kind of put it away, kind of,
Yeah.
They got some finishers on that team. They did what they supposed to do and finished it.
I mean, I think you got more veterans on the Knicks team. You got a coach in Tom Thibodeau. You know, he was a good coach. He has playoff experience.
Not to cut you off, but the vets of that team don't even be playing for real though.
But I'm not even talking about that. I'm just looking at, if you look at the main players on the Cavs, Garland doesn't have playoff experience. Jared Allen doesn't have playoff experience. Evan Mobley doesn't have playoff experience. You can even go to Karis LeVert, limited playoff experience. So those are their hitters on that team. Then you ain't really got a bench. And who you turning to? You have nobody on that team who you can even say on the bench who doesn't play has experience that they can bring to the locker room.
They got what's his name?
Ricky Rubio?
Yeah.
Right.
He they veteran and they got Mitchell. Mitchell led a team.
Exactly. So you got to look at and you know, we talked about it once before. Jalen Brunson seems to be the kryptonite for Donovan Mitchell. So
Brunson a dog. Brunson is just a dog. These college dudes is just straight dogs. They got that gritty in them from when they won them titles back in the college days. They took that into the NBA. Them boys is straight dogs. They developed. That's what I'm starting to see.
Because you got to think, players like Brunson had to prove themselves. Like a superstar in the making has to prove himself, but he's already labeled a superstar in the making, so he's given the benefit of the doubt. You know, they're given franchise labels and everything like that. Whereas you have a player like Brunson, any given day, Brunson, wrong step, injury, off game, attitude problem, he could be about the league. So Brunson had to solidify his existence in the league. And I think it was very beneficial with him playing with someone like Luka, learning the ins and outs from a player like Luka, because that's when you really seen his play elevate. You could tell he started mimicking some of the things that Luka would do. And I really feel like they had a great working relationship that was beneficial to Brunson. So then when you take that and go somewhere else, like Brunson had to, like, if you ever label him a superstar or a top point guard, a key threat going into a game, Brunson had to earn that. He wasn't given that. And that's what adds the extra grit, because he had to elevate himself to that level. Whereas someone like Donovan Mitchell, potentially given the superstar label, and he had to elevate his superstardom. There was a lot of debate between whether he was a superstar or not. But Donovan Mitchell was like already there as like one of those players. He was never looked at or on the same level or on as low of a level as like a Jalen Brunson. So I think that kind of gives Brunson like that advantage, because it's built in him, it's ingrained in him to grind, you know, to go through it, to prove, you know, against all odds, I got this. Like that's ingrained in him. So
like Brunson's done more. He's coming to these playoffs.
Oh yeah.
He's done more in his short career.
Yep.
Let it be known. Like, I mean, I feel like Brunson he's proven that he's a better baller. He just developed better.
I don't know if he's a better baller than Donovan Mitchell, but
Donovan Mitchell
can
score, but when it comes to heads up, getting it done. When it comes to heads up, Brunson, he winning. Yeah. He beating that dude.
But
beat him
remember,
on the west side.
What did I say in the very beginning? It didn't play out throughout the season. I'll chunk that up. I'll accept that. But I said, what was Donovan Mitchell struggling last season? When we talk about the struggle, I'm talking about the playoffs, how he didn't get through the playoffs. It was the two small guard lineup, because you can't defend. You got to think when they had got major production from Josh Hart, that was key, because he's coming in to play defense. He's coming in to get them extra rebounds that don't nobody want to go get. So when he giving you 17, that's a plus. So when you don't really have a defender on your side and you got two small guards, it creates a disadvantage because you can only have so much offense. You need some defense to stop the offense, and you weren't able to do that.
They had them Twin Towers. They thought the Twin
That's
Towers
not going to stop
was
offense
be enough.
because if I'm out here putting in work on that perimeter, Twin Towers ain't going to do shit. They're not going to serve any purpose. And then not to mention, you lost this game. Julius Randle had a bad game the game before. 3 for like 15 type deal. Got benched. Came back, got injured this game. He came back to the game in street clothes. So you got Julius Randle not there for 2 games and you still managed to lose? Come on now. And y'all was at home?
It ain't Randle. And Randle ain't the dog. It ain't the one that's beating them up. They know who the dog is.
I'm just saying, when you hey, gotta figure it out.
So what do you think they should do going next year?
You gotta get a bigger 2. You that 1-2 with Donovan Mitchell, that 1-2 guard, that 1-2 small punch, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Get some size out there. Put somebody next to him that can defend. So that way he don't have to really worry. Like if you get, it's like Steph Curry. You get defense from Steph Curry, that's a plus. You get good defensive plays, that's a plus. But you don't want him to be the primary perimeter defender. You don't want that.
So who would you say could go there? Put Garland on the bench, coming off the bench.
Yeah, get him Mikal Bridges. They get Mikal Bridges. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. You talking about he needed Jordan? Put Mikal Bridges next to Donovan Mitchell.
Think Donovan Mitchell need to go to the Nets, and I'll bring him over here to the Cavs.
I mean, Mitchell going to the Nets will be cool too. That'll be cool.
Cam Johnson. Nah, Mikal Bridges be better, but
oh yeah, Mikal Bridges is better defender. You talking about a defender? Cam Johnson ain't not a defender. But on to the next.
Them Clips.
Clippers. The Dole Clippers.
You think they should just shut down shop and rebuild?
I mean, before we get into that, we need to talk about why we even talking about that. And the reason we talking about that, because yet again, another playoff series where it looks like they got the upper hand. Another year where it looks like they got a legitimate team, where people's automatically, before they play a single game, say, they coming out the West. They coming out the West. That's what they saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you got your 2 superstars who can barely play any of the games, then you get to the playoffs, one of your superstars is out, and the other one gets to playing games, then he disappears. That's what you had the last 2, the last time y'all had meaningful playoff series. And then what happens? What happens when you get bounced out of the playoffs? Come to find out, that second superstar has a major knee injury. You did it. This is the second time y'all did this in a row. Like, it's crazy. When Kawhi was in the playoffs last time, y'all had a meaningful run. He disappears. He's not even sitting with the team. He up in high rise, and then he finally come down. And then when the playoff series over, then y'all release partial ACL tear. This season, he was playing, set out the game with a knee injury, knee soreness. What they said, doesn't come back. Then you hear the tragic news: his sister's facing life in jail. Actually got convicted and charged. I think first-degree murder, some stuff like that, allegedly. But pretty much, her and her friend killed somebody. She got life in prison, so that's on his mental and all this other stuff. And then boom, they get bounced out of the playoffs, and he got tearing his meniscus. It's like, why y'all keep doing this? So that's why we're saying, is it time to pull the plug with the Clippers? Because Paul George can't stay healthy. Kawhi Leonard can't stay healthy. And as you can see, had they had one of those players as an offensive option, because I was even talking somewhere earlier, they said, when Norman Powell is a bucket, would you say he a bucket? He a bucket, right? But Norman Powell is a bucket that you don't run the offense for. And that's what you saw in a game last night. When it came down to it, he's a player that you just kind of let freelance, like a Jamal Crawford or a Lou Williams, and they get what they got going. But that's not a player that you rely on in those clutch moments. It's pretty much your sole option, because Westbrook ain't that no more. Westbrook had the chance to make a key play, but he wanted to be the typical. He wanted to be the typical, the regular, the common, the modern day, the superhero Westbrook, and take the layup, which was cool. He's being aggressive, but he but he missed it. What he really should have done was made the extra play. That's what he should have did. So if you got Paul George or Kawhi Leonard on that court at the same time when you got Norman Powell can play in his comfort zone, in his wheelhouse. He don't have to be that primary option, and he's still going to give you that 42. And that was the issue. They didn't have somebody that they could turn to and get an automatic bucket, or you can run an offense through. It was kind of like, all right, Norman Powell, you go do something. And everybody else stood around. So when they went through the fourth quarter and had like one turnover for majority of the fourth quarter, they ended up getting 3 consecutive turnovers. Boom, boom, boom. Right as the announcer, the commentator was saying, oh, they went through the whole quarter, only got 1 or 2 turnovers. Boom, boom, boom. 3 turnovers like that. Westbrook passed the ball to Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann goes to grab it and pulls his hand. I never understood that in sports where it's legal to contact the ball with your hands. Never understood. Why would you pull your hands back? The ball is there. Catch the ball. Whether your team threw it or their team threw it, catch the ball. And he let it go out of bounds. So I say you chunk that up to not having an offensive weapon, a superstar out there that the offense can function through like this. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So would you say it's time? Would you say it's time to pull the plug?
It's been time, because now they just lose stock even more.
Yeah.
As soon as you told them that he has a torn meniscus, you lose stock.
I mean, the plus to it is the meniscus is like the minor between everything. A lot of the stuff that's in your knee.
This is every year.
Yeah.
He rocks hard all the way to the end of the season, then he fall off because of durability. You telling me you can't play 82 games and then you can't beat her 82 games and then go into the playoffs and last, you just falling apart. You worse than AD right now. Like with your durability, that Kawhi Leonard has been top 5 NBA player. 2 years ago, he was top 5 NBA players. He's falling out of the top 5. You could have got a lot for him. Him and Paul George. Put them in a package and send them on their way and get something. But now, who finna give up their superstars for that?
So Stephen A, big on Stephen A, you know what I'm saying? He said Kawhi Leonard is one of the worst superstars ever. Do you agree or disagree?
He lacks the personality. He lacks the durability. Skill-wise, yes, when he's there. But you're talking about an overall package of a superstar in the NBA today. I can't disagree with him for saying that.
And when I was having the conversation with the person, and I'm like, you taking it as if he disrespecting Kawhi. He's giving his respect to Kawhi. He's calling him a superstar. That's respect. That's acknowledging his ability, his skill, his talent. You have to understand the level we're on is the level of a superstar. That's the pedestal he's putting him on, right? So when you're on that pedestal, I'm evaluating you across the board with other superstars. You are the worst superstar because you're never available. I don't care about your demeanor. Hell, Tim Duncan really ain't say too much of nothing. Tony Parker wasn't all the way out there. Manu Ginobili, I don't know if you quite say he's a superstar, but he's a hell of a player, especially a role player. So, but still, I'm just talking about players who really didn't have those personalities. And that's the culture he came up in. The Spurs, that's why I'm hitting on those players. But it's more so you're never available. And the only superstar you can really say that gives you a run for your money is AD, but AD play more games than you. So that's what's crazy. When AD come back, he don't go through all this load management and all this other stuff. Maybe he should, but even with you load managing, you still can't stay healthy. So I say it's time to pull the plug. Y'all need to make moves. It didn't work. Kawhi Leonard was as close to home as he gonna get. Paul George is home. Time for y'all to go and be about your way. Figure it out. Make some major moves because I feel like y'all can get a lot. Let Paul George show out in the preseason or something. Let him show out in the training camp, summer league or something, so y'all can get something for him. Potentially put some Westbrook over there, or you keep Westbrook and just bring in supporting pieces because as you can see, Westbrook was still doing some damage, but you could tell Westbrook needs those shooters around him. So I say pull the plug on the Clippers, and we're going to pull the plug on this conversation. On to the next one, player.
All right, let's talk about them Timberwolves. How do you rate their postseason performance?
Man.
Me, they gave all they got. they gave all they got, and they had solid games, and the guys that played gave solid numbers, their typical numbers. You can't ask Rudy Gobert to drop 30 points and 15 rebounds because that's not what he's
20 and
capable of
10,
doing.
20 and 15.
You
He was
can't
doing that.
ask you can't ask for Ant to give you 40 points every single night. Like they was doing all that they could do. They was just outmatched by a better team.
So I say I get about a B because when you got stupid young players like McDaniels who excuses himself from the series by punching the damn wall. The wall is undefeated and the ground is undefeated. You punch the wall, took yourself out of the series. They really could have used you. And a very unfortunate injury in Nas Reed that killed you. And then you lose Kyle Anderson in your last game. That killed you. So for what it was worth and for what they had, they did a great job. What they have to do, they have to find a means to get production from Cat and Edwards. And they were able to do that. They were able to do that last night. And that's a good thing. They were able to do it last night. 26 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block from Cat. 29 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks. Very inefficient shooting from Edwards. But they need to figure out how to do that on a steady basis. That's what they need. And then Michael Conley barely showed up last night, 7 points. I mean, he had 9 assists, but you get a bit more from Michael Conley. You have Kyle Anderson. You only lose that game by 3, so you potentially get that game. But I get him a B. They got potential, and now you got Ant with his first, you know what I'm saying, competitive. Like it ain't his first playoff run, but you know maybe the first year where they felt like they could do something. I mean, I don't know. They went against the number 1 team in the East. So hopefully they take this and they learn from
West.
it. I mean, in the West, my bad. So he got positive. That's some positivity in this ass whooping that they took in the first round. Won 1 game, and then they got bounced out. But come back with a healthier team, and I say you're good. And then just figure out you got to find a way to keep both your stars. Because the thing is, you got 1 backcourt, 1 front court, so they shouldn't conflict too much. However, Cat like to be out there like he a guard, so maybe that's where they kind of conflict. But you got to find a way to get them going together.
I think they fairly went together in this playoff run. They both was able to get off.
No, because if I go to the earlier games, they ain't have it like that. It was Cat. It was Cat 1 game.
He had 1 bad game. I think it was game 2 where he ain't show up. He only had like 12 or something.
But that's so you got to think they only won 5 games.
Yeah, I'm saying Ant only had 1 horrible game.
So you got Ant 18 in the first game and Cat 11, and they got beat by 29. So neither one of them really. I mean, 18, 2, 5, and 2, and then 11 and 10. Cat gave you Rudy Gobert numbers, so that's a bad game on both of them. You're not going to win games with both your superstars or the superstars of your team, the all-stars of your team playing that way. So, and then you get Cat in game 2. I think Cat was the one that had the big game. Nope, Cat 10 to 12, and that's when you get Anthony Edwards 41. I mean, he got 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. So that's when you get Ant and no Cat. So that's what I'm saying. You got to get them going. Them 2 games that they lost right there, where they both of them were asked the first game, then you get 1 in the second game, and then game 3, you get Cat 27, and then you get 36. So pretty much in game 3, that's when you'll see both of them. In game 5, they went. Let me see what game 4 looked like. Game 4 is the game that they actually won. So looking at this box score, game 4, Carl Anthony 17 and 11. So that's a cool game, but for the level that he is and trying to make the argument he's one of the top 5 bigs in the league, 17-11 ain't shit. Like 17-11 ain't shit. So no, they didn't have those.
What's his average? What was his average this season? He like a 20. And
I mean, shit.
He was hurt.
I wouldn't even look at his average. I'm going to say he missed like 50 games.
He was hurt. But he's like a 20 and 10 type of guy.
Yeah, but you talking about a playoff game when you got Ant and then you got you. You got to be able to do more. So you can look at Jokic and say Jokic is not a 30-point scorer. Jokic is not a 30-point scorer. But in a playoff game, he'll give you 30. Hell, in a regular season game, he'll give you 40. So in these games that have this much weight, that carry this much weight, and you're trying, this is why we play. This is why you play the game to get to the playoffs, to compete on the biggest stage and in the finals. That's why you play. You don't get there by doing, oh, this is my average. No, you got to be above your average. Elevate your game in those meaningful moments. So no, not for me. He ain't getting it.
Them boys that they gonna
Yeah, I
come
gave him
back.
a B. A B, not bad.
They gonna come back. It's gonna take a lot to come out of the West. It's gonna take a hell of a lot for them to come out of the West. It's gonna take a hell
But
of a
you
lot.
ain't even necessarily got to come out the West. Compete. That's the
It's
best team
gonna
in the West. Compete.
It's gonna take a lot to even win a series in the West. You got too many heavy hitters. Every series that it don't matter who they would have played in the first round, they would have had to work.
I mean,
Against
unless
the
they play the
Lakers,
team like the Grizzlies.
they still have to work. It ain't like they was gonna wash through the Grizzlies. They ain't gonna walk through them. They still would have had to work, no matter
I feel
who
like
they
they'd have
played
been
this
straight
year.
against the Grizzlies.
It's a possibility they could beat them in 7, but they're not gonna walk through them. The Timberwolves ain't walking through nobody in the West this year. They had to work real hard. So, yep, they did what they did their best. I ain't mad at them. Wasn't expecting a lot from them anyway. Nobody was expecting to do what they did. They got a game in. So try again next year.
Yep.
All right. That's the Autumn series. Yeah. What's the next one? Oh.
So yeah, you trying to figure out why Ime Udoka chose the Rockets over the Raptors. Why do you think?
Let's stay in America.
They could be one.
I look like the Raptors got a pretty short leash. Let me stay away from them. Them boys. He gonna fire Nick. Hey, I don't want none of that smoke.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know what type of money they offer. I don't think they displayed that type of information. But I think the Rockets got a lot of young talent. They got a draft possibility where they could get a nice draft pick. And it's Houston. It's the city of Houston. You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't want to live in Houston? You know,
I mean,
he like them girls. He might find him a nice little baddie down there in Houston.
I mean, like somebody said, it's one thing when you got a city, especially a major city in the palm of your hand, but when you got the country, you got the whole country behind you, Canada rocking with you. So that maybe that's too much weight. But I really think what it is you've seen what he could do with a young core that had talent. You saw what he could do with the Celtics. So he looking at it, like you said, the Rockets got a young core. They have talent. They just need guidance. And he potentially could help them get to the next level. But also, maybe he sees longevity or more of the longevity in the Rockets versus the Raptors. The Raptors may actually be entering their rebuild phase. Like, all right, let's call it. Let's get to moving some pieces where you got the Rockets. We just drafted him. We ain't really looking to shop anybody off. We actually had one of our better seasons this year, looking a little bit better. We had injuries and stuff like that. So let's continue to do what we do and add another year of experience, and let's see what we get to next year and then get us a different coach and see. So I think that's what it is. When you look at the Rockets, all right, this team most likely be together longer. That team looks like they're about to break up. And I don't want to be a part of a rebuilding phase. I kind of want to be a part of a phase with some stability, some chemistry.
Could be a paycheck too. You don't know.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know how much dudes get making. But ain't like he should be out there banging for the big bucks. You know why? I mean, bro, you coming off a bad thing. You got a short leash. You got to get what you can.
He lucky. I mean, he blessed to be able to get a job.
Yeah.
Stay in the NBA. You know how they be. But it's Houston, man. Who don't want Houston? Toronto, Houston.
Especially
I ain't never
when
been
you
to
talk
Toronto, but
when James Harden flirting with the idea of coming back, You may be intrigued by that idea.
They know something. I'm saying they may know something. What if they get what's his name?
Wembanyama.
Yeah. What if they get him and James Harden with
That'd be
Jalen on the
crazy.
wing? You know what I'm saying?
That'd be
With
crazy.
Jalen on the wing, that's playoffs.
That'd be crazy.
I ain't saying they gonna beat the Warriors or the Nuggets or something, but that's
that'd be
playoffs.
highlight real play. I don't even
That'll
know if
be
it's playoffs.
playoffs.
I'm not even gonna go that far, but that'd be highlight real play.
Because they could get into the play-in, and all you need is one game. James Harden can do it.
I still don't think they get into the play-in.
So you don't think they'll be top 10? You telling me they can't get top 10? You telling me they couldn't take the Pelican spot?
No. If the Pelicans come back healthy, no.
We don't know what Zion has never been healthy. We don't even know what he can do. We know what James Harden can do, though. And Harden, we trust.
Oh, yeah, you talking about with Harden over there? Yeah, I got you.
That's what I'm saying. If you get and Harden and Jalen Green, if they get them three and they're healthy, they get them three, that's top 10. Yeah. They can sneak into the playoffs.
They could. I see you on that one.
You know what I'm saying? They might know something. They probably talking like, we're going to get him and we're going to get James Harden to come back because, we're going to get him. We talking and they making moves. James Harden might look and say, hey, if he there, them Rockets might be back.
On me.
Them Rockets might be back. Oh, I'm going to be a Rockets fan too. They get all three of them.
Trust me, we know. You ain't going to have nothing to root for in Dallas.
Oh no, I'm still gonna be Dallas, but I'm gonna be a Rockets fan. I'm gonna want to see them succeed. But speaking of my boy, we gotta hop on my boy real quick because y'all had that boy messed up. That was really Quail though. Y'all disrespect this man so much. Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy
Buckets.
That's what I call him.
I'm telling you, he's a dog in the playoffs. He ain't did nothing all year. He just crept all season long. He didn't even make an all-star team this year, did he?
It was weird. He wasn't on the all-star team. James Harden wasn't on the all-star team.
But James Harden got snubbed. But Jimmy Butler ain't did nothing to deserve. Like James Harden was leading the league in assists at one point. So that's kind of a snub. But Jimmy Butler ain't did nothing all year. He was just chilling, collecting a paycheck, staying out the way, watching everything crumble around him. And then when the playoff times come, I said when Jimmy Butler getting in playoffs, he a whole different map, he a whole different animal. Something just clicks for him.
But the thing with him is we've always given him his respects. The thing is, that's not what he goes out. Like, you need somebody that looks to be an offensive weapon every single night, and that's not Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a all-around total package player. So he's great next to someone. So like you say, Mikal Bridges needs to be next to a Jordan. He needs to be next to a Jordan.
Yeah, but like ever since the bubble, that dude, he doesn't have enough to take him over the hill. I don't see him running through these playoffs and winning championships or nothing like that. He don't have enough to take him over the hill, but that boy, he'll make you fight for whatever it is that you're trying to get.
Oh yeah, he gonna battle, and it's nothing but respect.
You ain't gonna walk through Jimmy Buckets.
It's nothing but respect, and because I respect it.
What's the score right now? Because there's a possibility he could finish.
They down by like 10. They actually had it, but they dropped down by like 10. So in Giannis's game back, he gave you a nice triple-double, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists. He had 6 turnovers. You got to take care of the ball. Then you get Brook Lopez, 36 points, 11 rebounds.
That's not normal.
No. Chris Middleton, he gave you great stats here, but you got to shoot better. And then you get nothing from your bench. My issue is, why'd y'all get Jay Crowder? Jay Crowder can be so much for your team, and y'all don't even use him. So it's kind of like y'all took him off the market to make sure he don't go to somebody else. And I'm pretty sure he didn't imagine coming sitting on his team and not playing. That's a lot of playoff experience. That's a real 3-and-D player. Like, I don't get why y'all not playing him. However, you get on this side, 28.
He could have gave him some trouble.
Look, 56, 9, 2. Look, Jimmy Buckets was on a whole nother mission. Granted, they only won by 5, so they needed his 56 to get it going. But you see, they went deep into their bench. To try to work it out because they're limited on personnel when you got Matt Struss giving you 0. I mean, shit. He gave you nothing but zeros.
He ain't did nothing. He just there.
Man, sit his ass down. But we're going to highlight this 56 for Jimmy Butler, a.k.a. Jimmy Buckets. That's what they need to change his game.
I'm saying Crowder could have disturbed that. Crowder could have made that difficult for him.
Because, Crowder got that fight. Crowder got that grit. Crowder got that.
He gonna get in your head because Crowder gonna talk and say what he ain't gonna
get in Jimmy Butler's head. However, he was gonna do better than whoever was guarding Jimmy Butler.
Couldn't nobody stop Jimmy Butler. It didn't matter what they did.
Come on, Defensive Player of the Year. So
can't nobody stop him. So shout out to Jimmy Buckets.
So my question is, is Giannis going to be enough to bring the Bucks back from this 3-1 deficit? Is Giannis going to be enough?
No, he's not.
It definitely doesn't look like it.
He's not 100% physically, and he's going to need help from his Robin. Middleton is going to have to show up. Like, Middleton, you're going to have to do more. The bench is going to have to do more. Bobby Porter's going to have to give us those numbers that we know you can do. We know you can give us 20 and 20. Brook Lopez, keep doing what you're doing, but at the end of the day, I think Middleton is the difference maker. Like, bruh, you got to give me something more. Like, give me something.
But the more that we need is defense. Y'all need to play more defense, not more offense. When you're getting 36 from Brook Lopez and down there another 30 from Giannis, that's offense you need. We need more defense. That's what y'all need. Y'all need more defense. I'm gonna put it that way. So I don't think if they don't come back with some defense, that won't be enough. It looks like they're gonna seal the deal
like,
tonight.
You're not gonna get 30 something from low. You're not gonna get 40.
That's what I'm saying. So when you typically get those points from Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, that's why it really didn't matter. You didn't get those points from Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. You got them from Brook Lopez. So that's why I said they need more defense. But I'll take us to the next topic where we talk about the Lakers. Lakers got blown out. And Memphis, a good old Memphis, they received a good old Memphis ass whooping. And that's how the Lakers were supposed to hold it down when they had that 26-point lead. That's how they're supposed to hold it down. So you already know Dylan Brooks taking the post-game conferences. He ain't want to do that after LeBron put up that 20 and 20 on him. But he gonna go and take these post-game conferences. Like a weak-ass motherfucker. That's why I call it a weak motherfucker. If you gonna talk, whether you win or lose, I don't give a fuck. You gonna talk. I can respect that. Don't be no hoe when you get your ass whooped. And then be all up in front of the camera. Go sit your little PDD ass down. So what I want to say is, and what I want to ask is, how do you think the Lakers are going to respond in Game 6 at home in LA? How they responding? They up 3-2.
It's over.
It's done. And you know what? Me being
it's gonna be
a
close
fan,
game.
I look at that matchup. I don't really know who I want to win, who I want to lose. But if I think about it strategically, I want the Lakers to win. I love to see another LeBron James, Steph Curry, because if LeBron James is able to overcome Steph Curry, that cements something in his legacy. But if Steph Curry outs him again and wins another championship, that does something for his legacy. But even more so, being selfish and being a true Warriors fan, it reestablishes home court advantage for us. So Lakers get that dub in Game 6 in Laker fashion. Put on that Lake show. Ain't that right? That's the only team you root for right now.
I would want the Lakers to win so AD can get y'all them buckets that Sabonis can't seem to do. That dude trash, man. I swear.
It's crazy. I didn't know he was this limited offensively. I didn't know.
Trash, bro.
We leaving you open at the free throw line?
He's trash. Like, oh my God. He can't do number rebound. That's it.
And pass, but we taking that away.
He can't even do that. You can't do nothing but grab boards. This dude is trash.
Time for the kick. We out, bye.
You talk ready? Hope you pack shit up with God, cause we gon' bless you. Let it burn, you gon' get it back. These just my confession. Stay in traffic, can't get picked off like no shit and duck. Keep one in the tuck. Wife be mad, but bet she still gon' fuck. Don't speak